Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Ezra Janello along with you, but how about the players who are starting today's game? Let's meet the starting lineups first. For the visiting Fargo Force, they go with Merrill Stenari on the left, Iro Butella on the right. Jordan Ron will take the opening draw for the Force. On the back end, it's Matt Leahy, the draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs, alongside Sam Larilla, the former NTDP team member. And in between the pipes for the second straight day, it's Alan Lendak. On the other side of the ice, the Lumberjacks wearing the white jerseys. They're the home team for this matchup. They start with Cooper Pearson on the left, Vaclav Nestrasil on the right, and David Klee, the newly named captain. In between the circles, Bauer Barry, Cam Coyne on the back end, and Shika Gadziev in between the pipes. We're underway here from Cranberry. It's the Fargo Force that take the opening possession. Coyne plays down the ice. Icing is initiated and confirmed, so the face-off will come back down to the Muskegon zone. Just 11 seconds in. The Lumberjacks in the white jerseys. They go left to right across your screens and radios. Fargo in the black and gray. They're going right to left. It'll be Ron across from Klee again, this time on the near side of the Jack zone. One backwards by Klee. Coyne to the far side for Barry, and now here's Pearson. Ahead for Nestrasil. Vaclav Nestrasil, far side corner, behind the net, pops out for Klee, pushes it wide. Nestrasil again, up top to Coyne, fires a shot just wide, over to Klee, the rebound off the post. It's kept in by Bauer Barry though. Over to Klee, to the middle of the ice, Nestrasil fires, it's blocked by Leahy, and picked back up by Ron, looking to clear the zone. A little bit of help by Merrill Stenari. Puck goes out of play though, and the faceoff comes back down to the Fargo end. The Lumberjacks quick out of the gates with the momentum. Two really high quality looks. The first one coming for David Klee, a nice pass in front from Vaclav Nestrasil, who had the second opportunity, but his shot blocked aside by Matt Leahy. Tynan Lawrence leans in for the faceoff across from David Tilla, who wins it back. To the near side it comes with Finn McLaughlin. Neutral zone pass for Cesar, who's knocked down by Dexheimer. Near side, Galenic carries towards the middle, enters the offensive zone. Has Lawrence on the far side, fires from a tough angle. It's turned aside by Alan Lendak, his second save of the contest. Veillon gives chase to the near side. Alternate captain here in Muskegon. Leaves off for Dexheimer, who gives it back far side. Here's Galenic, the other alternate captain. Taken back by McLaughlin, and now here comes Core. Met by Dexheimer. David Tilla now delaying penalty against the Force, and the Lumberjacks will get the first power play opportunity of the game, just 1:16 into the contest. Now we go back to last season and the special teams. There is not much that Fargo wasn't the best at. Their penalty kill, they were very good. First in the league, 86.2%. The Lumberjacks power play, it was fourth in the USHL at 29.1%. Klee comes on with Van Blaricom, Galenic, Lawrence, and Veillon. Face-off taken by Fargo and sent down the ice by McLaughlin, the Canmore, Alberta native. Today's a player to watch for the Force. A really big piece on the back end in that Clark Cup championship. Here's Tynan Lawrence from Muskegon to the offensive zone. Still battling for it on the near side wall. Goes to Veillon, gets it back, but it's regained by Bassin and cleared out of the Fargo end. He'll send it all the way down where Shika Gadziev won't touch the puck for the first time today. Leaves it off for Xavier Veillon. Up the middle of the ice, Veillon assesses his options, goes across the way to the far side for Klee. David Klee knocked down, puck taken by McLaughlin, and again, Gadziev out of his crease to slow it down. This time he leaves it for Tynan Lawrence on the near side. Into the neutral zone he skates, across the red, far side for Pearson. Pick and chip around the defenseman, first one on it, Teddy Spitznagel. Pearson up the far side wall, Danny Clares wasn't there. So he has to get it back in the neutral zone where he takes it all the way to his own end, goes across the way, and now here's Pearson. Back to Clares near side. 55 seconds to go on the advantage. Clares near side corner has the former Lumberjack Drew Mackey all over him. Taken by Borozinskis, the former Buccaneer, but it's regained by the Force and sent down. Gadziev stops it. Clares takes it. Near side for Nestrasil. 35 to go on the power play. Borozinskis back for Nestrasil, off his glove though. Pushed on net and blockered aside by Lendak. Here's Pearson, top of the blue line for Clares. Back across the way, Nestrasil. Down for Pearson, on the wall, works up top. to Claire's middle of the blue line. Back to Pearson. One-timer goes wide. It's picked back up by Nestrasil. Looking for Claire's. A great stick in the lane, though, by Reed Davatilla. And it's sent all the way down to the Muskegon zone. 10 seconds to go on the Jacks' advantage. Danny Claire's far side looks for Spitznagel. Though it's taken by Pearson. Up the far side. 3-on-1, the Lumberjacks go. Pearson, far side, near side for Nestrasil. Pass goes off a skate, and now here comes Fargo and Davatilla. Nick Coring, younger brother of Ryan Coring, who is a Lumberjack last season, plays up the near side of his own zone. Now has to go back for it behind the net. Tries the far side for Carter Sanderson. The Pierre, South Dakota native, sends it the length of the ice where Leahy picks up, but he's got Davis Borozinskis all over him. Leahy behind his net, pressured by Sanderson, goes across the way for Sam Larilla. Middle of the ice now, here's Ron. Poked away by Kurt Gherkin, and Larilla has to try again. Now Leahy, near side McKinnon. Offensive zone, fires, and it's turned aside by Godziev. Near side wall, Jake Marins battles for it. Across from Ron, it's taken by Butilla. Out in front, regained by the Lumberjacks defenseman Aucoin. Larilla has it in the neutral zone and sends back in, so here comes Aucoin. He'll use his feet this time. Gains the red, sends in deep. Full line change for the Lumberjacks. Pressure on the ice, here's Bauer Berry. Good check on McKinnon. Though the puck escapes the zone, and now here comes Butilla. Taken down by Spitznagel. And once the Lumberjacks touch up, the Force are going to get their first power play opportunity of the contest. 15:26 showing on the scoreboard here from the FedEx rink at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. We look at yesterday's game between Fargo and Green Bay. The Force were 0 for 4 on the power play, though last year they had the second best advantage in the USHL, 31.2%. The Lumberjacks penalty kill struck at a 76.9% success rate. Gherkin leans in for the draw for the Lumberjacks. It's Jordan Ron, the Minnesota native, for the Force. One back by Ron. Here's Larilla across the way. Fired onto Godziev, though blocked by Jake Toll. That was Cesar firing the shot. Gets it back from Butilla. Back down to Butilla, far side corner. Now Cesar on the wall, holds on. Walks towards the corner, goes up top for Larilla. Taken away by the Lumberjacks. Good step by Larilla, but Kurt Gherkin wins the puck and sends it all the way down. The Jacks will bring on some new forwards. It's Klee with Galanic. They join Veillot and Toll. Half a minute gone on the power play. Ron kicks out for Cesar. It's sent into the Muskegon end. Godziev out of his crease, plays on the far side. Cesar keeps it. Up to Larilla. Back down the wall, Cesar. Up to Larilla, walks towards the middle. Back to Cesar. Looks to the near side for Stenari. Glove down by Veillot. He plays for Klee. And it's sent down the ice once more. Now the defense change for the Lumberjacks. Coring comes on with Berry. 58 seconds to go on the advantage. Ty Mason looks for a pass from Larilla, but it goes the way of Leahy. Now Butilla gives chase. Nick Coring in the area. It comes to Mason on the wall. Up top to McLaughlin. Far side. Leahy the shot. Redirected in front, and Shika Godziev holds on to the rebound as well. That was pushed on by Cole Bumgardner. 40 seconds to go on the Force advantage. Shots are 2 apiece. Just about 6 minutes into this Saturday afternoon matchup. Kurt Gherkin leans in for Muskegon. A stick breaks. That's Bauer Berry off the draw. He'll get a new one from the bench. And we'll do it again on the near side. It's Butilla across from Gherkin. Gherkin joined by Jack Christ, Bauer Berry, and Nick Coring. It's Mason on the outside wall, but it's taken away by Coring. Mason looking for McLaughlin. 2-on-2 battle near side wall, the Jack zone. To the far side corner it goes. Leahy drops down for it. Picked up by Gherkin behind the net. Looks to clear the zone. He's unable to. Pushed towards the net by Bumgardner. It gets kept in by McLaughlin. Mason curls. Nice move on his forehand. Fakes the shot, but couldn't tuck it on the near side. Here's McLaughlin keeping it in. Walks down the wall. Finn McLaughlin back up top towards Mason. Taken away by Christ and sent down the ice. 4 out of 4 skaters will change for the Lumberjacks as Spitznagel is released from his sentence. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play, or you can look at it, both teams are 1 for 1 on the penalty kill. Here comes McLaughlin away from Toll. Danny Clares shades over, plays the near side, but it's taken by Mason. Off his stick, it goes all the way to his own end. Zimmerman receives, goes across the way. It's sent down by Eddie Revenig. No icing. Mason fleeced the first one on it. To the far side corner it goes. Zimmerman's on it now, far side. Looks and finds the stick of Joe McGraw. Poked out of the zone, though. Here's Revenig, far side, taken by Pearson to the offensive end. Ran into by Hayes Hunley. Couple bodies go down, but a 2-on-1 results for Fargo. Zimmerman forced to the far side corner. Play to the near side. It's Revenig dropping down for it, met by his number's sake. That's Barrett Dexheimer for the Lumberjacks. Dexheimer looks to clear, uses a pass to Van Blaricom, but it's regained by Revenig. And across the way, it's Hayes Hunley. Vail gives chase in his own zone. Both teams changing up their units. Van Blaricom centers for Rudy Burscollins. Here he comes out of Latvia. Burscollins pick and chip to the near side. First one on it, leaves off for Spitznagel. Teddy works up the wall to the blue line. Across the way, Vail fires it wide. It comes back to the near side where it's regained by Peter Cesar and carried to the offensive zone. Taken back by Borozinskis. Here comes Spitznagel. Off the near side glass to the corner. Leahy and Spitznagel come together. Burscollins works for it as well. It comes out to Vail. Xavier down the wall for Borozinskis. Up to the blue line, walks it, leaves off for Aucoin. Cam Aucoin walks down the wall, sends it below the goal line and behind the net. It's Borozinskis who gets it back. Davis Borozinskis, far side, leaves off for Aucoin. Played to the near side. Here's Burscollins, backhand pass in front, tapped wide by Spitznagel. Now Burscollins, Aucoin fires the one-timer. Good screen in front by Spitznagel. Takes down Lendak in the crease. The Force not happy with it, but Lendak holds on for the stoppage. 11:26 to go in the first. We'll make our way to our first media time out of the contest. Don't go anywhere. Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler and the official live stream partner of the USHL, FloHockey. Jacks and Force from the Fall Classic. Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Ezra Janello along with you. Face-off won by Fargo in their own zone. Up the middle of the ice, it was the forward, Jordan Ron, who plays the outside, but it's regained by the Jacks. Sanderson at the red line, sends back in. Lendak leaves off for McLaughlin. And on the far side, the Force start their breakout once more. All the way down the ice it goes. Aucoin wins the race. And so the face-off will come all the way back down to the Fargo end of the ice in front of the netminder, Lendak. Well, a friendly reminder that this Muskegon Lumberjacks broadcast is brought to you in part by Auto Owners Insurance. For over 100 years, Auto Owners has been dedicated to the independent agency system. Get local support from somebody you know. Whether it's home, auto, life, or business, ask your independent agent if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you. Puck comes back to the Muskegon zone. Clare's near side corner. Away from Stenari, goes across the Toll. Now here comes Galanik, back to the near side for Clare's. Jacks quickly to the offensive end. Clare's continues, looks to play out in front. Gets it there, but it's taken by Stenari. Great defensive play by Finn McLaughlin, who now leads the rush to the offensive zone. McLaughlin near side, pushed away by Van Blaricom. Here's Jake Toll, taken back by Stenari, out in front looking for Riley Bassin. But the pass just wouldn't go. Delayed offside against the Force. They get back on, and now here they come to the offensive end. Bassin knocked down by Van Blaricom. Kept in by Bynum. His shot goes wide. Picked up on the far side by Pearson. And now Lawrence avoids a check from Bassin. Puck continues the way of the Force, but it's regained by Nick Coring, who sends it deep. Lendak to the near side, leaves off for Bynum. Good collision caused by Pearson. Basson looks to clear the zone, but he's unable to initially. Now he does. It's regained by Basson, pushed to the middle of the ice, and sent in by Ty Mason. Veilleux behind his own cage to the far side. Up ahead, Pearson. Now here's Nestrasil for David Klee on the near side. Nestrasil behind the defense. Can't catch the pass. Carries it down to the corner. Looks for Klee out in front. Pearson pushes it on net. Nice save made by Lendak. Pearson has it back at the blue line. Pushes towards the front of the cage. It's kept in by Veilleux. Xavier across the blue line for Aucoin. Just out of his reach. Mason picks it up. Sends it down. And Aucoin has to receive in his own end. Here's Veilleux across the way for Klee. Centered for Pearson. Continued to Nestrasil. The offensive zone. Vaclav Nestrasil. Nice move. Curls back up towards the blue line looking for Pearson. But it's regained by Hunley and played on the far side. Joey McGraw sends it deep. Now Godziev to Aucoin. Middle of the ice. Here's Rudy Burzkals. Up to Barry. To the offensive zone. Borozinskis poked off his stick by Matt Leahy. Picked back up by Borozinskis. Fired and blockered aside by Lendak. Now clears the neutral zone. To the near side for Spitznagel. Finds Borozinskis behind the defense. Davis holds and fires. Turned aside. Rebound goes off the glass. Now Teddy knocks down a Force member. Picked up by Burzkals. Far side corner. That was Sam Larilla who got knocked down. Back on his feet. Battles for possession. 3-on-3 in the corner. Taken by Spitznagel. Out for Borozinskis. Patience. Holds and fires. And it goes just wide. He had the empty net to shoot at. But now he gets it back. Borozinskis up to Toll. Fired along the ice. Rebounds loose. Fired on by Burzkals. And the hold on. The whistle blown by the official. Spitznagel takes a cross check to the mouth. That was Mason Fleece coming in again. Teddy ran over the netminder, and the Force not happy about it. The Jacks might be going on the power play here. They might go take a look at Speedio. Let's see, it wasn't Mason Fleece, rather Sam Larilla. 2-minute minor for roughing. And the Jacks will get their opportunity at another power play. Brett Skinner, the head coach and general manager of the Force, wants to know why it's not 4-on-4. It's the second time Teddy's ran into the netminder. And it was the retaliation, but it's the number one rule they teach you as a youth hockey player. The ref's always going to see the second punch, so don't be the one to throw it. Offensive zone draw for Muskegon. Klee leans in across from Basson. He's got Galanik, Van Blaricom, Lawrence, and Veilleux along with him. Face off. One back by the Force. Here's McLaughlin to the near side for David-Tilla. It's sent down the ice. McLaughlin and David-Tilla joined by Basson and Mackey, while here's Galanik in his own zone. Finds Tynan Lawrence. Over the blue line, sends it in. First one on it, McLaughlin. Quickly off his stick to the blue line where it's kept in by Veilleux. Taken by Drew Mackey, and it's sent down the ice. Well, we knew we were going to see Drew Mackey game one of the season for the Lumberjacks. We just didn't know it was going to be against the Lumberjacks. Traded at the end of the preseason to Fargo. Here's Van Blaricom. Dropped off for Lawrence. Fires his shot just wide. Galanik stretches out to keep it in. Jack Galanik, far side wall. Down low for Klee. Near side, Lawrence holds. Fires off the post. It comes back to him on the near side. Tynan Lawrence, one of the two tender signings last year for the Lumberjacks. Made him a first-round draft pick in the Phase 1 USHL draft. 3-on-3 near side wall, half the power play time gone, a minute remaining for the Lumberjacks advantage, while it's sent down the ice by Hayes Hunley, the Upper Arlington, Ohio native. Here comes Barrett Dexheimer up the middle of the ice, away from Stenari to the far side. Fires it around, slowed down by Lendak, but here's Davis Borozinskis. Met by Pearson and Spitznagel, the teammates working together in the corner. Pearson works for it, but it's taken away by Mackey, and again, set down the ice by the Force. Shika Godziev leaves off for Dexheimer. They set up their power play breakout. Here comes Dex to the near side, finds Pearson. Pearson centers for Spitznagel. Teddy on his backhand, fires onto Lendak, who holds on, and again the Force go after Spitznagel. I'm not sure what Teddy did that time. Teddy fired a shot and then ended up behind the net. Lendak was up out of his crease halfway to the bottom of the circle when the play ended. Still 11 seconds to go on the Jacks power play. We mentioned Brett Skinner earlier. He's assisted by Jimmy Spratt, Jackson Keene, and of course the president of hockey operations in Fargo, Kerry Eads, is here in Pittsburgh for the event. Face-off will stay inside the Fargo zone. It'll be Pearson with Nestrasil and Spitznagel, Clares and Dexheimer. Near side, Pearson leans in across from Merrill Stenari. Mackey outside, McLaughlin inside, and the other forward, Peter Cesar. One backwards by Pearson. Here's Clares. Clares across for Dexheimer. Dexheimer fires, caught up in traffic. Cleared out by Cesar, the length of the ice. Out of the box comes Larilla, and we're back to even strength. Clares leaves off for Dexheimer. 14 minutes gone in this first period. 0-0, Lumberjacks in force. Nestrasil taken off his stick by Butilla. Back in the neutral zone, it's sent in by Hunley. The near side, it comes for Cesar. Up the wall, cycles it down low. Finds the stick of Reed Davitilla. Up the wall for Hunley, taken away by Sanderson. With speed, he enters the zone, finds Jack Christ, but the pass is behind him, so he chases to the near side wall across from Eddie Revenik. Taken back by Davitilla. The offensive zone, 2-on-2. Davitilla fires across the way, off the crossbar. Turned aside was Hayes Hunley. The defenseman joined the rush as the trailer and was inches from the first goal of the new year for Fargo. Sanderson up the far side, taken away by Leahy in the neutral zone. Carried back to the offensive zone by Mason. He's knocked down, and now here comes Sanderson. Trying to get away from the forced forward, Cole Bumgardner, who carries now on the near side of the neutral zone. Stepping up Van Blaricom, though the puck goes in the Muskegon zone. Bassin off for Bumgardner on the wall, back down low for Bassin, and continued around for Larilla. Make it Leahy, who can't catch up to the pass and has to chase all the way down to his own end. Here's Bumgardner on the near side wall, centers for Riley Bassin. Chipped in, first one on it, Nick Coring keeps it on the near side for Van Blaricom. Centered for Galanic, gets to the neutral zone where Mackey receives it. Now Bassin for Bumgardner, back to Bassin to the offensive zone, poked off his stick by Aucoin. Here comes Tynan Lawrence to the far side for Van Blaricom. Back to Lawrence on the far side, poked out in front. Able to hold on was Alan Lendak with 4:16 to go in the frame. Take a look back around the USHL and the normal out-of-town scoreboard, but the other ice, the final score between Waterloo and Chicago, the Blackhawks picked up a 4-0 win. That's the Waterloo Blackhawks defeating the Chicago Steel. Of course, you've got the Chicago Blackhawks, who play just down the road from the Geneva Fox Valley Ice Arena. Near side, Aucoin keeps in. Down low, finds Galanic. Left off for Van Blaricom behind the net. Now it's Lawrence. The near side, works up the wall, turns and fires it backdoor for Van Blaricom. Maddie to the near side, held up behind the net. Picked back up by the force. That's Jordan Rod. Now here's McLaughlin. 3:50 to go in the first. McLaughlin up the near side wall. Good play by Aucoin. Offside are the force, so we'll get a neutral zone draw just in front of us here on the near side. Again, later today, the Lincoln Stars will take on the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders at 3 p.m. And then at 5, it's the USNTDP, the under-18 team, taking on the Sioux Falls Stampede. All the action can be found on the official live stream partner of the USHL, FloHockey. Sent into the Muskegon zone off the stick of Hayes Hunley. Taken back by the force. Hunley keeps in. Near side, down the wall for McGraw. Fires, but it's blocked by Dexheimer. Near side again, Zimmerman. His shot, blockered aside by Godziev. McGraw behind the net to the near side. Throws out in front. Taken away by Veo. Now here comes Pearson. Met by Zimmerman. Looking for Marins. It's left off for Veo. To the offensive zone. Xavier tries to fire from a toe drag. It's held up. Now Pearson jumps on it in the corner. Play to the far side. First one on it is Ashton Bynum, the Dallas native. McGraw looks to clear the zone. Another native of Texas, though he's out of Sugar Land. He gets it all the way down. Delayed penalty against the Force. Going to the bench is Godziev while carrying the puck up the ice is Rudy Burzkons. Chips around Larilla. Gets it in the corner. Held up on the wall. Touching up are the Force. And for the third time this period, the Lumberjacks are going to go on the power play. It's a 2-minute minor for holding, assessed to Mason Fleece. The face-off will stay on the near side of the Fargo zone. Pearson comes on. He's got Nestrasil with Spacnagel up front, Clares and Borozinskis behind him. 2:45 to go in the first. Face-off, one back by Fargo. That was Zimmerman doing the honors. And now Reed Davatilla carries back to the near side and sends it down the ice. Zimmerman and Davatilla joined by Leahy. And it was Larilla, but now it's Drew Mackey. Here comes Danny Clares. To the near side for Pearson. To the offensive zone he comes. Left off for Spitznagel. Looks back up the wall, but is taken away by Zimmerman, kept in by Nestrasil. Here's Clares far side. Danny Clares down the wall, Pearson back up top to Nestrasil. Fires a shot that's blocked. Out in front, they score! It's Davis Borozinskis, the Lumberjacks' first goal of the new year. A power play goal to give them a 1-0 lead in the first. This was an off-season acquisition for the Lumberjacks. Davis Borozinskis played last season in Des Moines with the Buccaneers and immediately makes his impact felt. A power play goal, got a rebound, backdoor on the near side. The 9th shot of the game for the Lumberjacks. Finds the back of the net, beats Alan Lendak, and the Jacks lead 1-0 with 2:09 to go in the first. Here's Veillot to the near side for Marins. Off his stick, trying to get away from Mackey. It's regained by Jordan Ron. Now here come the Force, looking to tie the game up. Merrill Stenari down for Ron, near side corner. Taken away by Klee. Veillot loses his stick, continues in the play as Galanik looks to clear the zone. Able to, on the second chance opportunity, make that rather Jack Christ. While Godziev behind his net plays it around to the far side. McLaughlin sends back down low. Dexheimer, first one on it. Barrett Dexheimer out of Edina, Minnesota. Here comes David Klee, 2-on-1. Klee, short breakaway, looked for Marins on a spinorama pass, but a strong back check from Finn McLaughlin shut it down. Here comes the Force, fired on by Butilla. Turned aside by Godziev, battle on the near side corner, taken away by Lawrence out of Fredericton, New Brunswick. Lawrence, one of the 2 tender signings for Muskegon, now has it in his own zone once more. Well, you hear the public address announcer make the announcement. 1 minute remaining in the frame. Here's Van Blaricum looking to the far side. Christ had gotten off. Galanik gets on and immediately has possession. Gives it off for Lawrence. To the near side he comes. Tynan Lawrence sends it deep. First one on it, Sam Larilla behind the net. Back down the ice to the Muskegon zone it comes. Jake Toll, first one on it. 34 ticks to go in the frame. Toll up the middle of the ice, keeping his feet moving, looks at his options, chooses Van Blaricum on the near side. Jake Toll continues all the way down to the corner where he meets Larilla. 22 seconds to go in the frame. Toll behind the net with possession. Cesar down behind the play. Whistle blows. And the Force forward is slow to get up, still on his knees. We'll take a quick step aside. 15 seconds to go in the first when we come back here on FloHockey and the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. So as we come back from a quick break, the applause you hear are for Cesar back up on his feet. And the officials are going to go to Speedio, the official replay system of the USHL, to see what kind of penalty is going to be assessed to the Lumberjacks' Matthew Van Blaricum. What's awesome about Speedio is we also get it up here in the broadcast booth. So let's see, on the near side, oh, it was a cross-check behind the play that knocked Cesar down. And so we'll see what the officials decide to give to Van Blaricom. The officials are Eric Arrigo and Ross Beck, the linespersons Craig Ford and Erica Greenan. It's a cross-checking penalty for Matthew Van Blaricom, just a 2-minute minor. But that sends the Force back on the power play, 15 seconds to go in the frame. If they score, they'll take a tie game to the second. If they don't, they'll take a man advantage into the second period. Face-off being the Jack zone. Gherkin along with David Klee up front, Veo and Toll on the back end. Klee will take the draw across from Ron. Cesar back on the ice on the inside. David Tilla on the outside. It's Lorilla and Leahy on the back end for the Force. Klee kicked out of the circle, replaced by Kurt Gherkin. Battle ensues off the draw, taken by Klee. Clears off the wall and down the ice. 8 seconds to go in the frame. Here's Leahy, 3 seconds. Stretch pass down the ice. Davidtilla got a piece of it. Couldn't catch it, so Godziev will hold on behind his net. And the Lumberjacks will take a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a quick step aside and come right back on the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler for the first intermission report. Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Ezra Janello along with you. We appreciate you tuning in this afternoon as the Lumberjacks take on the Fargo Force. Not just an appreciative of the Lumberjacks fans back home in Muskegon, but also the Force fans back home in Fargo. We appreciate you tuning in today. Both teams looking for their first win of the new season. This is the first game of the year for the Lumberjacks, second for the Force, who fell 2-0 last night to the Green Bay Gamblers over on the Covestro rink here at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. They were trailing 1-0 at the end of two periods. It was 0-0 in that game, where we are in this game right now after one. The Lumberjacks, they hold on to a 1-0 lead. A goal at the 17:51 mark of the frame, a power play goal at the 17:51 mark of the frame. It was Davis Borozinskis finishing off a rebound on the near side. The former Des Moines Buccaneer finds the back of the net for the first Lumberjack goal of the new season. It was a power play goal, and there have been plenty of penalties. First, it was Gavin Core, a 2-minute minor for slashing. Then Teddy Spitznagel, a 2-minute minor for tripping. Then Sam Larilla and Mason Fleece, one for roughing, one for holding. And the Mason Fleece penalty is the one the Lumberjacks scored on. But then, at the 1944 mark, Matthew Van Blaricom, a 2-minute minor for cross-checking. That leaves a minute and 45 seconds of power play time for the Force when we come back from the first intermission break. Shots in that first period. For the Lumberjacks, they had 9. For the Force, they had 4. Of course, the Jacks were 1 for 3 on the power play, and the Force were 0 for 2. Before we take a look at the other games going on today, we got to take a look at the future. And next week, when the Fargo Force celebrate their home opener over at, I want to say Shields Arena. I might be wrong on that one, though. I think that might be Sioux City who plays over at Shields. The Force, they play over at Farmers Union Insurance Arena. Now, that's one of only 3 USHL rinks that I haven't been to yet. But the Force, they're back home next week. The home opener, they take on the NTDP on Friday, 7:05 p.m. puck drop in the Central Time Zone. Tickets are just $5 over in Fargo next week, the home opener. But back to the scores around the Fall Classic today. Earlier, the Waterloo Blackhawks took a 4-0 win over the Chicago Steel. And then going on right now, just in warm-ups, the Rough Riders take on the Lincoln Stars. And then after this game, right here on the FedEx rink, it's the NTDP taking on the Sioux Falls Stampede. We have the assists, by the way, now for the first goal of the game for Davis Borozinskis. It was assisted by Vaclav Nestrasil and Cooper Pearson. The Lumberjacks' first goal, not just of the game, but of the season. Don't go too far. Second period's coming up. When we come back, the Force are on a power play here on FloHockey and the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Welcome back into FloHockey and the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Ezra Janello along with you, just ahead of the start of period number 2 between the Fargo Force and Muskegon Lumberjacks. The Jacks currently holding on to a 1-0 lead, a power play goal from Davis Borozinskis, his first as a Lumberjack. The Lumberjacks' first of the season. Power play goal assisted by Vaclav Nestrasil and Cooper Pearson, the difference maker so far, but it's the Force who find themselves on a power play to start the second period. $1:45 remaining in a 2-minute minor for cross-checking assessed to Matthew Van Blaricom. Matty VB, MVB they call him in the locker room. Played last year, the last couple of years, in the SJHL, his hometown team, the Humboldt Broncos, a native of Southeast Saskatchewan. Is a tough league to play in. Physically, just a tough league. Matty was top 10 in scoring, and he was the only player not a 03 or 04 birth year to do so. Matthew, in 2006 birth year, was ranked by NHL Central Scouting. He talks with the officials as he makes his way back into the penalty box, and the Lumberjacks will start shorthanded. They send out Kurt Gherkin with Bauer Berry and Cam Aucoin. We'll see if it's David Klee who joins them. It'll rather be Jack Christ. The Force, who are moving left to right across your screens and radios. They get going with Jordan Ron and Reed Davidtilla, joined by, I want to say Cesar. I'd be wrong. It's Merrill Stenari with Davidtilla, Lorilla, and yeah, Cesar. Here he is on the near side. He drew the penalty, leaves off for Rod. Now across the way, here comes Stenari to the offensive zone. Merrill Stenari, a member of last year's Clark Cup winning team, popped out in front. That was Davidtilla. It comes up to Ron. Now Lorilla looks across for Stenari. Poked away by Christ. Kept in by Ron. To the far side, Lorilla away from Aucoin. Sam Lorilla down for Davidtilla. Gets it back. Lorilla, far side of the blue line. Sends it down the wall. Reed Davidtilla now walks up top. Curls down the wall away from Christ. Back up top to Lorilla to the near side. It comes for Ron. Ron back across the way. One-timer from Stenari. Couldn't get all of it. Comes back to Cesar, who carries up the wall to the blue line. Leaves off for Lorilla. Fired and scores! From the blue line. It was redirected in front. Reed Davidtilla, a power play goal. And it's 1-1. Just a minute and 6 seconds into the second period. It was good puck movement, all power play long for the Force, keeping things to the outside. You're content with that if you're the Lumberjacks, but a shot with eyes from the blue line. Comes off the stick of Sam Lorilla. Reed Davidtilla. He celebrated as if he got a piece of it. Either way, I think if you ask either Lorilla or Davidtilla, all that matters is the puck went to the back of the net, and the game is tied back up. The first goal of the new year for the Force. Reed Davidtilla, assisted by Sam Lorilla and Jordan Ron. A power play goal to tie the game up at 1 apiece. Back in the Muskegon zone, here's Barrett Dexheimer near side, across the way. Finds the 6'5" Vaclav Nestrasil. Back to Butella. Sent in. First one on it. Xavier Veo on the near side. Looking for Pearson. Blowing a tire. McLaughlin. 2-on-2 the other way. Make it 3-on-2. Pearson. Dropper. Clear the one-timer. Deflected wide. Turned aside somehow by Alan Lendak. And now a 4-on-2 the other direction. Basson drops for Mackey. Gets it back. Looks out in front. A pass intended for Fleece. Instead finds Tynan Lawrence. 2-on-1. Lawrence on his backhand. Lowers his shoulder and pushes the puck just wide. Now McGraw leaves off for Mackey. Far side, it's controlled by McLaughlin. Trying to get away from Tynan Lawrence. McLaughlin off the near side wall finds McGraw. Taken away by Galenic. Pushed back where Mackey picks it up. Now it's regained by Jake Toll. Hand pass called against the Lumberjacks with 17:39 remaining in the period. Face-off will be on the near side of the neutral zone. And again, they're going to the Speedio camera. Not sure what they're reviewing here, but they're reviewing something. Oh, they're reviewing the goal. Was it high stick to the back of the net? That's the question. So we'll go way back. And now this is one of those interesting situations. If the goal gets called off, I believe the time goes back on the clock. So as they take a look at Speedio, we'll try and make our way back to when the goal was scored and take a look at it ourselves. Here we go. In front. Let's see. David Tilla. I don't know that it's a high stick. It's at the lower portion of the F on his chest. From this angle. Now, of course, we're using the middle hung one. It also might be, if they're reviewing, if the Lumberjacks scored earlier that shift. On the one that I said, somehow Alan Lendak kept the puck out of the net. $17:39 to go in the frame. We'll take a quick step aside and come right back with the answer from the officials here on FloHockey and the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. That is exactly what they were looking for. It was whether or not the Lumberjacks had scored. The puck went off the far side post. The inside of it bounced off the ice in the crease and then came back out. So no goal, and the game stays at 1-1. Face-off won by the Force. Taken away by Lawrence, though, far side. One-on-one on Larilla. Lawrence cuts to the near side, poked off his stick. Galenic has it, he scores! Following up the play, Jack Galenic. The Lumberjacks regain the lead, 2-1. It was a one-on-one for Tynan Lawrence across from Larilla. He cut towards the middle, and the puck was poked off his stick, but Jack Galenic, Johnny on the spot, picks up the puck, loose in the slot, and fires it to the back of the net underneath the blocker of Lendak, and the Lumberjacks regain the lead, 2-1. Well, the scoreboard says 2-0. Also, if it was a coach's challenge from Muskegon, if you get it wrong, I think you get a 2-minute minor. So maybe some growing pains, I'm not sure. Either way, right now the Lumberjacks have 2 goals. We'll see what changes come as here comes Galenic looking for his second. Butella near side, down the ice. Here comes Riley Bassin away from Aucoin. Bassin out in front. A pass intended for the stick of Jordan Ron. Instead comes the other way with Galenic. Across for Van Blaricom, trying to get away from Mackey, lowers his shoulder, drops off for a coin, but it comes to Ron, who clears the zone. Over the red line, he'll send in. I wonder if they called back the goal against Fargo, and I was right on the initial guess. Almost too many men on the ice for the Lumberjacks. Instead, it's taken back by the defenseman Eddie Revenig. Through the middle of the ice, taken back by Danny Clares. Mason Fleece sends in. Godziev behind his crease. Plays it to the far side for Clares. Up the wall for Borozinskis. He started the goal scoring back in the first. Centers for Burskalns. The two Latvians coming together, but offside, says the linesman. Rudy out of Cessis, Latvia, played the last few seasons at Bishop Kearney in upstate New York, committed to play college hockey at Boston College. Alongside the Liepāja, Latvia native, Davis Borozinskis, last year in Des Moines of the USHL, and he's committed to play his college hockey at Western Michigan. Spitznagel sends in, Revening the first one on it. Teddy Hart on the forecheck allows Jake Toll to keep it in. Goes back down for Spitznagel behind the cage. Puck comes now to Davis Borozinskis. He's held on to by Zimmerman, so Spitznagel picks it up. Near side wall, backhands it towards the cage. It comes back to Borozinskis. To the blue line now for Clares. Far side wall, fires, redirected by Spitznagel, looking back for his own rebound. Instead, it's taken down to the far side corner. Kept in by the fresh-legged Veo. Near side, Toll fires. Turned aside, Spitznagel, the rebound, goes to the far side corner for Burskalns. Burskalns back to the Lumberjacks bench. With possession now, Eddie Revenig. Up the near side. Revenig across the blue line for Mason. Mason fires, blocker to side. Rebound goes to Sanderson. Carter Sanderson down the ice. Regained by the Force. On the near side half wall, it's Xavier Veo. Into the offensive zone, he skates. The New York Islanders draft pick. Pushes down low for Sanderson. Carter Sanderson, one of the bigger bodies in Muskegon, 6'1", 192. Delayed penalty on the ice is a slashing call for Barrett Dexheimer, and the Force go back on the advantage. Well, the question still is it 2-1 Lumberjacks or is it 2-0 Lumberjacks? I thought they called off a goal for the Jacks that the coaches challenged. They might have called back the Fargo goal. Either way, the Force go back on the power play. The only question off of that is, well, are the Force 1 for 3 or 0 for 3 on the advantage? Played out in front for Davidtilla. Stenari's shot gets blocked. Davidtilla now on the near side with it. Down for Stenari. Gets it back on the wall. Davidtilla leaves it off. Up top it comes for Larilla. Now Ron. Back up to Larilla. Works towards the middle. Goes across the way. Stenari. Back to Ron. Fires a shot off the glass. Rebound far side for Davidtilla. He finds Stenari. Good check by Klee, but it's picked up by Cesar. Now Ron. Up top Larilla. To the near side, across the way, Stenari, one-timer, turned aside by Godziev. Larilla keeps it in. Sam Larilla, down low, Davidtilla backdoor, one-timer turned aside by Godziev again. Stenari took the shot, now he controls. Down for Davidtilla. It comes to the near side corner for Ron. Davidtilla again, met by Coring. Taken by Veo, kept in by Larilla, loses his stick. Here comes Galenic behind the defense. Stenari, the back checker, quickly collapses on the puck carrier and shuts down the opportunity. Now Stenari leaves off for Ron. Now Davidtilla sent down to the far side corner. Aucoin in the area, so is Bauer-Berry for Muskegon. Aucoin takes it to the near side, fires it down the middle of the ice to the far side corner. The Jacks can finish their line change. Chris comes on with Gherkin, Aucoin, and Berry. Here comes Finn McLaughlin. Chooses the far side where he finds the stick of his centerman in Ty Mason. Mason in onto Godziev, collides with the netminder on his backside in the crease. Play continues. Push down low. Here's Cole Bumgardner. Tied up by Bauer-Berry. It's clear down the ice. And standing in the box is Barrett Dexheimer. He's got 5 seconds till he's let out. Lawrence comes on with Van Blaricom. Here comes McLaughlin, leading the rush to the offensive zone, taken away by the Jacks. Dexheimer fresh on the ice, joins play. Here comes Jake Toll out of Rosemount, Minnesota, curled back and now sends in. Onside, says the linesman. And so here's Matthew Van Blaricom, lays a check while the puck comes with McLaughlin. Up the far side, sent in. Toll gets it behind the cage. Now here's Jake Marins. 7:25 gone in the second. Scoreboard says 2-0 Muskegon. Here's Fleece, knocked down, good check by Clares, allowing Lawrence the puck. Danny Clares just off his stick, plays ahead for Van Blaricom and gets it back. Clares sends in. It goes off the back wall. It's picked up by Lendak, and we'll make our way to immediate timeout as the players separate from each other. 11:56 to go in the second. We should be going to immediate timeout. Maybe we're not. First stoppage after the 15-minute mark of the period, but we'll keep going. No, we won't keep going. We will go to immediate timeout. How about that? 11:56 to go in the second. We'll take a quick step aside. We'll see if we can have some answers for you. Hey, it's the first game of the year. It feels like it. We'll be right back here on FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. Ezra Janello along with you, and I got some answers. It's 2-1 for the Lumberjacks. It was a review of whether or not the Lumberjacks had scored. They said no goal, and then the Jacks, they did score. It was Jack Galanik. Here's a shot from Dexheimer that gets blocked. To the near side corner it goes. Lawrence with Marins and Van Blaricom, but is taken by the defenseman Hayes Hunley in black. Pushed towards the offensive zone. Delayed offside against the force. Allows Veilleux up the near side. Xavier Veilleux loses his stick, slashing the call against the force. And the Jacks will go back on the power play. It's Zimmerman, a 2-minute minor for slashing, with 11:33 to go in the second. So the goal scoring summary. This period, Sam Larilla credited with the goal. It was Peter Cesar and Merrill Stenari on the assist. That was a power play goal, just 1 minute and 6 seconds into the frame. Now the Lumberjacks will go back on the advantage. Zimmerman goes to the box. Jack Galanik then found the back of the net for Muskegon on an assist from Tynan Lawrence. And that's how he made it 2-1 in favor of the Lumberjacks. We go back on the advantage. Spitznagel with Borozinskis and Pearson, Nestrasil and Dexheimer. This is the unit that struck in the first period. Across from Pearson in the circle is Riley Bassin, the former Cedar Rapids Rough Rider. Bassin joined up front by, I want to say, Davidtilla. I'd be right. They also have Larilla alongside Leahy on the back end. Face-off won by Pearson. Dexheimer far side, Nestrasil near side. Borozinskis backdoor for Spitznagel, but tapped wide. Here's Dexheimer keeping it in. Poked off his stick. Here comes Davidtilla behind the defense. Reed Davidtilla on his backhand. Forehand pushed it wide. Now here comes Pearson. Up for Nestrasil. Has Spitznagel and uses him. Teddy enters the offensive zone and forces his way to the near side corner. Across the way, Nestrasil can't keep it in. Instead, Dexheimer in the neutral zone picks it up in his own end. Back to the far side for Nestrasil. Off his stick. Larilla up to Stenari, left off for Davidtilla. Fired but deflected wide by Pearson. It comes back on the near side where it's sent in by Finn McLaughlin. Now here's Dexheimer. Up the middle of the ice, far side finds Pearson. Holds up in the neutral zone. Cooper back to his own half of the ice before finding Davis Borozinskis. Borozinskis to the offensive end, near side wall. Tries to chip away from McLaughlin. who sends it back to the neutral zone for Veilleux to receive. Has McGraw all over him. Here's Cooper Pearson. Pearson looked to leave off for Klee, wraps it around. Fargo wanted a penalty. The arm of the official stays down. McLaughlin holding up by his mouth. Doesn't take possession. Instead leaves off for Van Blaricom. Van Blaricom for Pearson. Fired. Turned aside. Rebound. Van Blaricom again. Turned aside by Lendak. Veilleux can't keep in. Xavier in the neutral zone. 21 seconds to go on the advantage. Here comes David Klee. Fires to the far side corner. Mackey's the first one on it. Glove down by Lawrence, taken by Galanic. Fired in front. Klee pushes wide. Lawrence, the rebound far side, curls up the wall. Out of the box comes Zimmerman. And we're back to even strength. Lawrence back to the offensive zone. Tries to make a move around McLaughlin. Unable to. Puck gets sent down towards Jake Toll in his own end. Now here comes Tynan Lawrence. Lawrence for Galanic on the near side. At the half wall, leaves off for Toll. Toll plays out in front, goes off a body, held up, but it's cleared out by McLaughlin. Long shift for the Canmore, Alberta native. And he stays out there because here comes Jake Toll. Across the center ice logo to the near side for Burscollins. Rudy back for Toll, pushed down low for Marins behind the net. Off the back side of the cage, it's picked up by Lendak. And he'll hold on for the stoppage. Face-off will be far side of the Fargo zone. Marins stays on with Christ and Burscollins. Toll and Claire's on the back end. It's Cesar who jumps over the wall alongside Jordan Ron and Eero Butella. Larilla on the backside with Matt Leahy. Marins leans in across from Ron, far side of the Fargo zone. Just over 11 minutes gone in the second period. Jacks leading 2-1. Their first game of the 2024 Fall Classic. Face-off taken by the Jacks. Burscollins in tight, fires onto Lendak. Rebound swiped away by Ron. And now looks for a pass, but it's kept in by Jack Christ. Jake Toll near side. Butella in the area looking to clear it, unable to. Marins joins the effort. Taken by Larilla. He finds Leahy. To the middle of the ice for Ron. Far side he skates over the red line. Leaves off for a teammate. That was Cesar who sends it in. Now here's Jake Toll. Claire's takes down a force member. That was Ron. And Claire's going to go to the box for interference. Looked like the two got tangled up. Danny Claire's not happy with the call, but just because you're not happy about it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We'll go sit 2 minutes. The Minnetrista, Minnesota native finished the season last year with the Lumberjacks as an affiliate player. Saw some postseason action as well. Spent last year playing high school hockey at the powerhouse in Minnesota, Minnetonka. And now makes the jump to the USHL. His team shorthanded though. Pearson jumps over the wall with Klee up front. Veilleux on the back end with Coring. One backwards by Pearson. Here's Nick Coring, played last year at Eden Prairie. Sends it the length of the ice, and the first one on it is Reed Davatilla. Away from Klee with speed through the neutral zone to the offensive end. Davatilla still has it on his forehand. Pops out in front. Found the stick of his teammate Peter Cesar, but it was off it just as fast as it was on it. And the Jacks clear the zone. Jack Christ replaces Pearson. Behind the net, Larilla makes his way up the middle of the ice. To the near side for Davatilla. Sent off the back wall. First one on it, Stenari far side. Met by Veilleux. Taken away by Christ. He'll send it down on target, so Lendak has to turn it aside. Well, it's picked back up by Larilla. Far side over the red line, now the blue. Into the offensive zone, nice move by Larilla. Behind the net, it comes to Bumgardner near side. A minute gone, a minute left on the forced power play. 2-minute minor for interference to Danny Claire's. Puck behind the net comes to the near side. It's Leahy, the Maple Leafs draft pick for Davatilla. Now regained by Bumgardner. Up to Leahy. Across the way, leaves it off for Ty Mason. Mason to the near side, gives it to Larilla. Sam Larilla, middle of the blue line. Far side for Mason, gets it back. Near side, Leahy, one-timer turned aside by Godziev. A big slap shot by Leahy. Now he gets it back, holds, looks at his options, curls back to the middle of the blue line. Now leaves off for Finn McLaughlin. Down for Bumgardner. Now McLaughlin walks the blue line across the way. Mason, the one-timer, turned aside. Gets it back up top to McLaughlin. Now Mason, near side Leahy, fires along the ice. Redirected by a Lumberjack onto the net. But Shika Godziev made the save anyway. 8 seconds to go on the Fargo advantage. 6:29 in the second period. So the Jacks are the technical home team today, wearing the white jerseys. Tomorrow they'll debut the new golds, the MKG third jerseys, to take on the Sioux Falls Stampede. But first, got to take care of business against the defending champs, the Fargo Force. Zimmerman leads in. 8 seconds to go on the power play. Leahy outside, takes the puck, looks up towards McLaughlin, gives it to him, but it clears the zone. Sanderson on the forecheck, forcing McLaughlin all the way back. Zimmerman and Burzkalls jawing at each other behind the play. Well, here come the Force back to the offensive zone. Ty Mason sends in, wins possession behind the net. Met by Burzkalls and Alcoin. It comes back to the blue line for McLaughlin. McLaughlin fires, blocked by Burzkalls. Joins the rush, while here's Jake Marins to the near side for Jake Toll. McLaughlin picks it up. Down the ice he goes with it. Behind the defense was Gavin Core. Slows up with space, fires a shot. Big rebound. Great play by Jake Toll to clear the danger. Now here's Sanderson. Reverse check onto Core, allowing Marins to take the puck. And it's now Cam Alcoin with it. Away from the pressure of Core, Alcoin sends in. First one on it is Hunley. He's knocked down. Coring looking to knock down Core as well. He sends it to the corner for Sanderson. Far side, it's taken back by Revenig. Regained by the Jacks. Here's Coring at the blue line. Sends off the wall. Revenig to the near side. Jake Marins takes it behind the net. Regained though. It's Hayes Hunley. Given away to the Lumberjacks at center ice. It's Nick Coring who now has it in his own zone. 5 minutes and change to go in the second. Here's Nestrasil to the offensive zone. Pearson in the area as well, but it's taken back by Basson. Kicked out for Core. Near side on his forehand across the way. The pass was on target. The shot was not. Off the post it goes. Rebounds loose for a moment. Bodies start going down. Godziev laid on his back to cover the puck. And obviously the whistles had come in from the officials. On the far side, it was Malachi McKinnon who rang a shot off the post and off the backside of Shika Godziev, who just laid down, right? You don't know where it is. Lay down, take away the bottom, and hopefully you're on top of it. The Force have held momentum in the second period. They lead the shots 14-13. They also have an offensive zone draw. Basson across from Klee, taken by the Lumberjacks captain, and now here comes Pearson. Away from Mason Fleece. Regained by Larilla. Looking to the far side. Klee tries getting it back. Instead, it's sent into the Muskegon zone. The Force are offside. And so Alcoin has time to play it to the near side for Pearson. Now Barry across for Alcoin. At the center ice logo, plays to Pearson near side. Onside are the Lumberjacks. But it comes back with Mason Fleece. Barry in the area. Taken back by Basson. Fired onto Godziev and paddled aside. It's Vaclav Nestrasil now, left off for Lawrence. Here's Bauer Berry. Pearson across the way. It comes back with Alcoin. Butella in the area. Nestrasil battling across from him. It comes back with Larilla. Up to Davidtilla. To the offensive zone he comes. Davidtilla gets the pass back from Fleece on the far side, though it's taken away by Tynan Lawrence. Into the offensive zone he skates. It's poked off his stick and sent down the ice by Fargo. Just enough for icing, but they don't call it. Now they do. The puck had crossed the goal line. Jake Toll had led up, then blew a tire, and then the offsides or icing was called. They're going to make the Force send their players back on that were on the ice. That's Mason Fleece, who jumps back over the wall, joining David Tilla. And Cesar. Jacks have Lawrence, Galenic, and Van Blair come up front. Toll and Clares on the blue line. One back by David Tilla. Here's Drew Mackey, far side for Cesar, down the ice. This one doesn't have enough for icing, so Fleece can get off. While here's Galenic, centered for Lawrence. Over the center ice logo, Tynan Lawrence to the offensive zone, still with it. Leaves off for Van Blaricom. Backdoors Galenic. Pass from MVB, just a bit out of his reach, so Galenic controls in the corner. Taken back by McGraw. Out for Cesar. Peter Cesar out of Bratislava, Slovakia. Has it behind the net. 2-on-2, Clares and Toll for the Lumberjacks, McGraw and Cesar for the Force. 3 minutes to go in the frame. Tynan Lawrence comes in for it, plays up towards Jack Galenic. Over to Van Blaricom, into the offensive zone, back for Galenic. Holds on the wall, met by Mackey. It comes back to the neutral zone for Dexheimer, who finds Veillot. Back to Dexheimer, across the way. Teddy Spitznagel takes a check but gets it deep. Here's Finn McLaughlin, met by Van Blaricom and Spitznagel. Spitz continues on the forecheck while Van Blaricom gets off in favor of Borozinskis. Near side half wall now. Burscollins battles for it. Comes out to Veillot. Xavier off for Burscollins. Across the way, here's Dexheimer. Dexheimer works down the wall. Holds on his forehand, fires, looks for his own rebound. Instead, it's picked back up by Ty Mason. He leads the rush, but it's taken back by Rudy Burscollins, who was covering for the defenseman. Spitznagel gets a piece of it. No icing. 2 minutes to go in the frame. 2-1 the Lumberjacks lead. Here's Mason up to the blue line. Barry couldn't keep it in, so now he has to battle for it in the neutral zone. Leaves off for Spitznagel. Back to the offensive end. Spitznagel's shot into the glove of Lendak, who holds on. Well, the NTDP are here. Their guys getting the sticks taped up on the concourse. They take on the Sioux Falls Stampede in the next game right here on the primary rink. Galenic leans in for the draw. Make it Kurt Gherkin, far side of the offensive zone with Sanderson and Christ. Kicked out of the draw, Elias Zimmerman, so he'll be replaced by Cesar. Won by the Jacks, pushed onto Lendak but wide. Taken on the near side, it's picked up by Bassin. Cesar now battles for it, centers the puck, it comes up to Zimmerman. Over to Cesar, near side, dropped off for Bassin, fires a shot. That's blockered aside by Godziev. And now Aucoin going at it with Bassin on the far side. They're both going to go to the box, and everybody now comes together to grab their guy. .90 seconds to go in the second. It's been a physical matchup, that's for sure. Two teams that you would consider skill teams, especially last season. The hits and the extracurricular activity has been flowing. Both guys, that's Aucoin and Bassin, get 2-minute minors. So we'll skate 4-on-4 for the remainder of the second period. Just 90 seconds to go until the intermission break. Galenic comes on with Pearson. The Shattuck duo from last season. Both guys 2 years ago were at Shattuck St. Mary's. Last year played here in Muskegon. Now Galenic wears an A on his chest. He's got Jake Toll and Danny Clares behind him. David Tilla up front with Stenari. It's Larilla and Leahy on the back end for Fargo. Near side of the Jack zone, face-off won by David Tilla. Still a battle ensues for possession taken by Clares. Left off for Pearson. Behind the net it goes for Jake Toll. Curling away from David Tilla. He leaves it off for Clares and now gets it back on the far side corner. Toll left off for Galenic. Jack plays the near side for Clares, and now here come the Lumberjacks. Danny Clares leads the rush, leaves off for Jake Toll, now off for Pearson. Pearson near side, curls towards the corner, where he's met by Leahy. Larilla comes in across from Galenic, and the puck goes across the way. Sam Larilla leads the rush. 2-on-1 has Davatilla with him. Larilla to Davatilla near side. Fired. He scores! Reed Davatilla ties the game up at 2 apiece. Gadziev was run into. Jack Galenic's not happy about it. The goal is scored. They called that one as it's good. It's a 4-on-4 goal for Reed Davatilla. A nice pass backdoor from Sam Larilla. And it was Merrill Stenori who collided with Gadziev and was on his backside in the Lumberjacks crease. So now the officials will get together and talk. That's Eric Arrigo and Ross Beck. Whether or not Gadziev had the opportunity to make the save. Well, the Force have yet to announce their captains. Finn McLaughlin representing the team at the edge of the officials' circle, while it's the newly named alternate captain for the Lumberjacks, Xavier Veillot, who waits for his explanation. And based on the mannerisms from the official, they're saying that the collision happened after the goal went to the back of the net. There wasn't much of a debate about it. Veillot goes back to give his report to Parker Burgess, the bench boss in Muskegon. McLaughlin, his to Brett Skinner, the bench boss in Fargo. We'll stay at 4-on-4, 48.2 seconds to go in the second, tied up at 2 apiece. Reed Davatilla's first of the year, assisted by Sam Larilla. Lawrence comes on with Veillot, Christ, and Coring. Still at 4-on-4. It's Mackey with Cesar, McLaughlin, and Ron. Mackey in his own zone behind the net. Left off for Cesar, trying to get away from Lawrence. 35 seconds to go. Here's McLaughlin. Up the middle of the ice. Trying to stay away from Lawrence. He finds Drew Mackey, and now here comes Ron. Away from Christ. It's taken back by Veillot, and now here comes Nick Coring. Ahead for Lawrence. Tynan Lawrence holds up at the red line. Now finds Veillot on the near side. Xavier Veillot down to the corner. Up the wall. Centers for Coring. Here's Nick Coring. Fires a shot. Through traffic, it goes wide. On his backside is Lendak. As time expires, the puck stays below the goal line. And the Lumberjacks, who led 1-0 after 1, they're tied up at 2 apiece after 2. A goal in the final minute from Reed Davatilla evens the game up ahead of the second intermission. Don't go anywhere. The second intermission report comes up when we come back here on FloHockey and the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Ezra Janello along with you for the Lumberjacks Hockey Network second intermission report. So we'll talk hockey, we'll talk fun stuff after that. Hockey is fun though, and this is an exciting game because you win the period, you win the game. In the third period, 2-2 after 2. The Lumberjacks were leading 1-0 after 1. It was Davis Borisinskis who gave the Jacks the lead on the power play in the first, but then Sam Larilla, a minute and 6 seconds into the frame, his first of the season, assisted by Peter Cesar and Merrill Stenari. That was a power play goal. Now it was redirected in front. Then the Lumberjacks, they thought they had scored a goal. They did not score the goal. It is okay, but then we went to a review and we didn't know if they were reviewing the Fargo goal or the Lumberjacks goal. Then we realized they were reviewing the Lumberjacks goal. It was no goal. But then they never put the Fargo goal up on the scoreboard, so it said 2-0 after Jack Galanik had scored to give the Lumberjacks back the lead. In reality, it was 2-1. So it was 2-1, not 2-0. And then it was another Fargo goal after that. Reed Davidtilla finishing off a 2-on-1 while skating 4-on-4 in the final minute of the frame. His first of the season tied the game up at 2 apiece, and that sends us to where we are now. Entering the third period, 2-2 game, 4-on-4 for the first 30 seconds. Coyne sits in the box for the Lumberjacks. Riley Bassin in the box for the Force. Now for the fun stuff. If you don't know, if you're a Force fan or a new Lumberjacks fan, we get the distinct pleasure as broadcasters in the USHL to travel to different cities, different arenas, and experience what other fans of other teams get to experience on a game night. And a big part of the fan experience and the game day atmosphere is the food in all the different arenas. So last year, you know, what's the one thing you're going to go to a hockey game and get? That's a hot dog. You're also going to get a beer, but I'm working, I'm on the clock, so I can't do the beer, but we get a hot dog, we review the hot dog, and we have the rankings. Now, we didn't get to go to Fargo, Sioux City, or Lincoln last year, but we did get to eat 13 out of the 16 hot dogs in the USHL. So hot dogs, they're done. Maybe we'll mix some in when we go to those 3 cities just to finalize the rankings, but we got to find something new to eat for the second intermission food review. So here's where I'm challenging the fans. When the Lumberjacks come to town, I might do it on social media, I might do it in person on the day of the game. I'm going to go ask fans of that team, say we're in Fargo, hey, what should I eat while I'm in your town, right? While I'm here at this arena, what should I eat? We're gonna do it. We're gonna rate the best of the best in each city. We don't really know what the best of the best is here in Pittsburgh. We got a pizza. It's a rink pizza. We're gonna give it a 5.6. It was sitting there on the counter probably for 45 minutes before they put it back in the oven to heat up. 5.6, the pizza review here at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. You know, it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's a rink pizza. That's the best you can say. I'm going to take a quick step aside. We'll be right back. The players are back on the ice in a moment here for the third period. Lumberjacks and Force on FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. Welcome back into FloHockey, Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixler. 4-on-4 for the first 30 seconds of the period. And we're underway. The Force win the opening draw. Galanik out there with Lawrence, Dexheimer, and Veo for the Lumberjacks. Larilla and Leahy on the back end. Here's Reed Davidtilla, who tied the game up in the second. He's got Merrill Stenari along with him. Larilla keeps in, far sidewall. Cycles it down low. Xavier Veo the first one on it. behind his own net. Looks for Jack Galanick. It comes to the near side wall. Galanick goes down. Veo takes the puck. Played behind the net. Here's Dexheimer. Left off for Lawrence. Still pinned in the Lumberjack zone. Out of the box come Bassin and Aucoin. It's controlled by the Forest. Bassin fans on the shot. Taken back by Veo to the far side corner. Taken by Davidilla. Near side. Off the wall for Larilla. Across the way. Leahy's one-timer very wide. But it's picked up by Veo in the near side corner. Now Stenari. Up the far side wall for Bassin. Fired but blocked by Galanick. Now here's Veo again. Both teams starting their line changes. Barrett Dexheimer looks to clear the zone. He does. Finds Klee, who sends in. Larilla, first one on it. Leaves off for Butilla. Now here comes Ron. Up the far side over the red line. Ships and chases. But is taken by Danny Clares behind the net. Up to Nestrasil. Near side wall. Up the wall. Can't clear the zone. Drew Mackey keeps it in. Mackey, a former Lumberjack, never appeared in a regular season game for the Jacks, but was the first round pick for Muskegon in this summer's Phase 2 draft before being traded to Fargo out of training camp. Shot out to Godziev is held on to. So the stoppage comes, our first of the period, a minute and 31 seconds into the frame. David Klee leans in across from Jordan Ron. Klee out of Castle Rock, Colorado, drafted by San Jose, committed to Nodak. Ron out of Champlain Park, Minnesota, committed to play college hockey in his home state at Mankato. Barry, near side wall, clears the zone. Mackey sends it back in. Here's Coring. To the near side on his backhand, finds Bauer Barry. Now here's Nestrasil. Up over the head of Drew Mackey. David Klee takes him down. They go to the corner. Delayed penalty against David Klee. And he's going to go to the box for tripping. Well, Klee is kind of laughing off that penalty. It was kind of a tough one. The two were tangled up together. Klee's stick wasn't near the feet of Drew Mackey, but he did kind of drag him down. Again, just because you don't like the call doesn't mean that's not going to be the call. 2 minutes on the board for David Klee's tripping penalty. 18:08 to go in the third. 2-2 game. Here's Davidilla off the draw. Looks for Stenari and has him. It's pushed down low for Cesar and across the way. Now it's Ron. Up top to Larilla. Back to Ron, far side. Walks off the wall and leaves off for Cesar. Trying to stay away from Kurt Gherkin. Cesar off the wall for Larilla. Now Davidilla. They crisscross. Back with Larilla. Looking across the way to the far side. Kurt Gherkin got in the way of the pass and sends it the length of the ice. He'll get off for a change. Galanick comes on with Pearson, joining Barry and Aucoin. Well, here's Larilla, 34 seconds into the power play. Up to Ron, who leads the rush to the offensive zone. Dropped off for Davidilla. Near side, Stenari's one-timer goes wide, and it's picked back up by Larilla. Down for Davidilla, and now it's Ron again, far side corner. Up top to Larilla. Back to Ron. Cuts towards the middle. Throws the brakes on. Now up top, Larilla. His shot along the ice, turned aside. Rebound to the far side corner. Pushed up the wall. Larilla keeps it in. Back to Cesar and down to Ron. Met by Bauer Barry. Now Galanick battles for it. Takes it, clears the zone. Trying to get down the ice is Cooper Pearson, but he's got Stenari all over him, who takes possession and leaves it for the defenseman Larilla with 45 seconds to go in the Forest power play. Larilla gets off. Leahy takes the puck. He's joined by Finn McLaughlin, who starts the power play breakout. 31 seconds to go on the advantage. McLaughlin to the near side for Mason. Mason out for Butilla, but it goes back down low for Mason, and he continues it around all the way to Leahy, far side wall. Now McLaughlin from the blue line fires a shot, redirected, rebounds loose, couple whacks at it. On his stomach is Godziev. Rebound goes to the far side corner. Now here's Jack Christ. 2-on-2, the Lumberjacks skate. David Klee standing in the box, about to come out of it. Well, here's Xavier Veo in the offensive zone. Near side wall, Veo across the blue line for Nick Coring. Puck escapes the zone. Coring starts the reload. Middle of the ice is Spitznagel. Across the way for Burzkons, back to Borozinskis. His shot gets blocked, and it's Butilla who regains on the near side. Danny Clares keeps it in. Clares near side wall, blows a tire, throws on net. Burzkons takes a cross check from Leahy after He finished the play in on Lendak. But the netminder holds on. The official blows his whistle, and the play stops with 15:45 showing on the scoreboard. Borozinskis will take the draw. Burrs calls inside, Spitznagel outside, Toll and Clares on the blue line. It's Zimmerman across from Borozinskis. One back by Fargo, a little bit of help from Malachi McKinnon. And now here come the Force. Taken away by Toll in his own zone, reversed to Clares. Now it's Fleece all over him, knocked down to the ice. Clares finds a way to get it to Rudy Burrs calls. Now here comes Clares again, looks to the far side, has Spitznagel. Puck goes into the Fargo bench. And so the face-off will come back to the neutral zone just in front of it. 15:22 to go in the third, 2-2. Force and Lumberjacks. Fargo, they lead the shots 18-15. It'll be Burrs Collins across from his number's sake. Reed Davidtilla for the draw. One back by Fargo. Here's Revenig near side. Gains the red and sends in. Out of his crease, Gonziev stops it behind the net. Leaves off for Aucoin. Up to Borozinskis. Taken back by Fargo. Stenori near side. Fires, trying to tuck it in between the blocker and the chest of Gonziev, but he turns it aside. Borozinskis sends in. Hundley the first one on it. Davis hard on the forecheck. Bangs a body. And the puck stays in the offensive zone just for a moment. Sanderson throws a check onto Davidtilla, but now here's Revenig near side. Again gains the red and again sends in, this time on target, so it's blockered aside by Gonziev. Well, here comes Sanderson leading the 3-on-2 the other way. Carter Sanderson to David Klee near side. Klee fires, shouldered aside by Lendak. Rebound goes to the far side corner where it's picked up by Ron. Stretch pass down the ice. Gets Bassin in stride, down to the corner on the near side. Butella in the area as well, but now here comes MVB, Matthew Van Blaricom. Regained by Larilla, big check by David Klee on the near side. The bench gets loud for him, while here on the far side is Dexheimer. In his own zone, tried finding Sanderson, but the puck comes back to the near side where Larilla looks to keep in, he can't. Instead, it's back with Leahy in his own zone. To the near side, Jordan Ron. Down the ice, Veo drops to a knee for it. Goes backwards for Dexheimer. Now here's Van Blaricom. Over the red line, sends in. Lendak out of his crease behind his net. Plays on the near side and Leahy. Head up, looking at his options. Fires it to the middle of the ice. Finding the stick of Eero Butella. The shot gets blocked by Dexheimer. The two come together in the far side corner. Dexheimer knocks down his counterpart. And now here comes Jack Galanick. Chip down the ice. Drew Mackey gloves it down. Here's Jake Marins, taken back by Galanick. Galanick, nice shot, turned aside. Rebound goes to Marins. Jack Galanick, and a little dipsy doodle in the offensive zone, looking for his second goal of the game. Jake Toll poked off his stick by Mason, who takes possession in the far side corner. The Force changed the other four skaters, so it's quickly regained by the Jacks and Galanick. Now here's Coring. Up ahead, Marins taps it in. Here's Tynan Lawrence. Lawrence held up by McLaughlin near side half wall, and the puck goes out of play. Face-off will go back into the Fargo zone. Just over 7 minutes into the third and final frame of regulation. 12:51 remaining. And the Force were told they couldn't change. With the face-off staying in their own zone. Klee will take the draw across from Elias Zimmerman, the Galv, Sweden native. Nestrasil lines up in the trigger position inside. Won by Klee, but corralled by Zimmerman and played backwards. Taken by Aucoin in the neutral zone, finding Nestrasil. Now here's David Klee. Fires through traffic. The rebound was loose for a moment. And now going after Pearson is the defenseman, Hayes Hundley. The puck was loose. Pearson took a whack at it, and Hundley wasn't appreciative of that. Hayes Hundley, 6'3", 207 pounds. There's one defenseman in the Fargo lineup under 6 foot. That's Eddie Revenig. Ashton Bynum, 6'4". Matt Leahy, 6'5". Drew Mackey's 6 foot even. Finn McLaughlin, 6'2", and then Sam Larilla is 6'1". Pearson leans in for the offensive zone draw. He's pushed down by David-Tilla, and now here comes Hunley. Takes a big check by the captain, David Klee, for the Lumberjacks. Klee gets taken down to the ice. Well, here comes the play to the Muskegon zone. Nestrasil picks up possession. Over the ice, over the wall is Kurt Gerken replacing Klee. And now here comes Cam Aucoin. Dropped off for Pearson. It comes to Nestrasil on the near side. Now Cam Aucoin works back toward the blue line. Bynum takes away the pass across the ice. Pearson regains. But again, Bynum takes it. Clears the zone up towards Denari. Trying to get away from Aucoin. Dropped off for David-Tilla. Cuts across the middle. Knocked down by Gerken. Here comes Sanderson. Working 1-on-2. Fires to the far side corner. He'll win the race for it. Dropped off for Chris. Fired and blockered aside. Nice pass by Carter Sanderson. Creating offense while his team was changing. Here's Nick Coring. Handcuffed by the puck. Regains it behind the net. Far side of his own zone now. Moves his feet, carries over the center ice logo, kicks it back to his stick, but it's regained by Bassin, who plays it down the ice for Christ to receive. Now Veilleux. Battling forward on the near side. A pass for Butilla, goes over his stick. A race for the puck, won by Larilla in his own zone, away from Sanderson. Larilla, up ahead, Butilla. Back for Bassin, and now here's Core. Sent in. First one on it, the netminder Godziev. Behind the net goes to Burrs Collins' far side. Now it's Sanderson again to Danny Clares. Middle of the ice, Borozinskis sends in. Takes the check from Mackey. McLaughlin gives it to Mackey near side, and now here's Gavin Core. Bassin across the way, plays it ahead for Ty Mason, who sends deep to the Lumberjack zone. Clares leaves off for Toll, and now here comes Spitznagel. Over the red line, sends to the near side corner. Behind the net it goes for Borozinskis. Backhand pass out in front. There for Rudy Burrs Collins on his backhand, forehand, tapped in front, rebound loose, swallowed up by the netminder Lendak. And again, the Force protecting their netminder right in the crease. .10:27 to go in the third. Media timeout. Final one of regulation. Lumberjacks and Force tied up at 2. If your friends and family aren't watching, call them. Tell them to turn it on. Exciting 10 minutes of hockey coming up when we come back here on FloHockey and the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. Welcome back into FloHockey, the Lumberjacks Hockey Network on Mixlr. A friendly reminder that this Muskegon Lumberjacks broadcast is brought to you in part by Auto Owners Insurance. For over 100 years, Auto Owners has been dedicated to the independent agency system. Get local support from somebody you know. Whether it's home, auto, life, or business, ask your independent agent if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you. Fargo in the defensive zone draw. Up the near side was Eddie Revening skating. Found McKinnon, who sends it deep. Now Barry avoids the check from Mason, leaves off for Aucoin. Far side wall, Galenic has to go back for it. He ends up firing a pass to Tynan Lawrence. Back in the neutral zone for Galenic, regained by Ty Mason, who carries up the far side, now finds Zimmerman. He's knocked down by Bauer Barry. Delayed penalty against the Lumberjacks, and Barry is going to go to the box for interference. Barry's saying, I didn't touch him that hard. He lost an edge, but he lost an edge because Barry touched him. So 9:57 to go in the third. 2-2 game, and the Forest go back on the power play. Face-off will be near side of the Lumberjack zone. Galanic and Klee up front. Toll and Veo on the back end. It's Stenari with Ron and Cesar up front for the Forest. Davidilla and Larilla on the blue line. Ron and Klee for the draw. Near side of the Jack zone. One backwards by Klee. Here's Toll. Can't wrap it. Now Klee does, but Larilla there to hold on. Davidilla now, middle of the blue line with plenty of space. Goes to Larilla. Larilla, Davidilla, near side circle, fires but blocked by Veo. Now here's Ron, far side wall. Up to Larilla at the blue line, top of the circle, fires high and wide. Rebound to the blue line, escapes the zone. Larilla has to lead the reload for the power play for Fargo. Davidilla sends in. Gadziev behind his net, tries to clear the zone himself. He clears the zone, but he clears the ice as a whole. Puck goes off the glass, so both teams can change. Face-off will stay inside the Lumberjack zone. Well, I mentioned the Lumberjacks ad read. Well, how about the Force? They take on the NTDP next week, their home opener. Tickets are $5. 7:05 p.m. puck drop in the Central Time Zone. Go to, I believe it's just FargoForce.com. That it is, FargoForce.com to get your tickets. Next week's home opener, $5 only to take on the NTDP. Here's Davidilla, still on the power play, a shot redirected wide. Nick Coring getting a stick in the lane. 51 seconds gone on the advantage, a minute 9 remaining on it. 9:05 in the frame. If you're a Lumberjacks fan, you can also go get your tickets to the home opener for the Jacks, though it is not until over a month from now, October 25th. The Lumberjacks take on the Chicago Steel as part of Flannel Fest weekend. Get your tickets by visiting MuskegonLumberjacks.com. Call the box office or call us in the Lumberjacks office, 231-799-7000. Here's McLaughlin near side of his own zone. Now directly in front of his goalie. He'll get his feet moving up the middle of the ice. Far side, Leahy wraps it in. They're joined by Butilla, Mason, and Bumgarner. Has it in the far side, goes up top to Leahy. Now McLaughlin, middle of the blue line. Away from Sanderson, his shot deflected wide by Butilla. A coin on with Sanderson, Coring, and Pearson. McLaughlin can't keep it in. Sanderson chases Leahy. 2 out of the 4 penalty killers change. Veo and Christ come on for the Lumberjacks. Mason weaving through the traffic in front, plays on the far side. Leahy keeps it down low for Butilla. Now Bumgarner looks to pop out in front, leaves it for Leahy, far side wall. Now McLaughlin, back to Leahy, away from Kurt Gherkin, up top to McLaughlin. Far side again, Bumgarner, down to Leahy in the corner, behind the net. Leahy to Bumgarner, up to McLaughlin, out of the box comes Barry, the one-timer off the post from Mason. Game stays tied, but here's McLaughlin. Curling away from Christ. Jack Christ takes it away, Gherkin clears the zone. Here's Christ, far side, just in front of his bench. Plays backwards for Dexheimer, and now here's Veo. All 3 forwards change. It's the Borozinskis line with Burzkals and Spitznagel. Here comes Davidilla the other way, though. Popped out in front. Gadziev pokes it aside. Cesar was in the area for the Force. Davidilla near side wall, working alongside Cesar. It's Burzkals and Dexheimer for the Lumberjacks on the 2-on-2 battle. Taken by Davidilla. Popped out for Stenari. Poked away by Veo. Now a push to the blue line. It's Hunley. His shot blocked. Here comes Borozinskis leading the rush near side. Davis puts the brakes on. Plays in front. Burzkals tried knocking it down, but it goes to the far side corner for Hunley. Here to the neutral zone. Danny clears in the area for the Lumberjacks. Carries back to the offensive end. Away from Revenig. Slows up in the corner. Leaves it for Spitznagel. Now on the far side. Teddy cuts towards the middle. Taken off his stick, though. And now the other way goes Mason Fleece. Shika Gadziev behind his net to the far side. David Klee now. Near side. Leaves off for Danny Clares. Clares fires across ice. Dump. 6.5 to go in the third. Here's Leahy. Jacks get Nestrasil and Pearson on along with Klee. Looking to clear the zone was Riley Basson, but he goes high in the air. Now gloved down by Ron, and Chip to the Muskegon end. Good check by Jake Toll. Bassin goes after Toll. And now the Jacks are going to go on the advantage. I know my bias is there, right? We're not going to ignore that fact. I thought it was a fairly clean hit from Jake Toll. I think Jake Toll just happens to be 6'3", 173 pounds, while Jordan Ron's 5'10". Bassin didn't necessarily agree with my thought process of it being a clean hit. Goes after Toll, and he gets a 2-minute minor for roughing for his troubles. And I think that's fair, right? And if you're a Fargo fan listening, and I apologize because this weekend you've had to listen to two other teams' broadcasters. I think yesterday you had Frank Zorowski with the Omaha Lancers. But he called that game between Green Bay and the Force. You don't get the guy you're used to. But we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you sticking around this Saturday afternoon matchup. 2-2. The Force and Lumberjacks, who are back on the advantage. Galanic loses his stick. Davidtilla takes it to the offensive zone. Toe drag, looking for the shot. Nice play by Xavier Veillot. And what a pass, a kick pass from Galanic. Starts the rush the other way, but Matthew Van Blaricom got it taken off his stick, and it's sent back down where Veillot receives from Godziev. Xavier Veillot up the near side, finds MVB. It's wrapped all the way around on the far side. Hunley the first one on it. Kept in, nope, not by his number-saken Veillot. Instead, he has to recover and send it to Tynan Lawrence. Lawrence finds Veillot. They got Galanic, Van Blaricom, and Klee up front. Van Blaricom, far side, trying to get away from Joey McGraw. Now Veillot met by Zimmerman. Lawrence enters the zone, met by McLaughlin. Zimmerman sends the puck down the ice. McGraw thought about changing, now he does. Veillot takes a bump behind the net. Now is Zimmerman, played out in front, fired onto Godziev, rebounds loose. Rebounds turned aside, loose again. Another save made, still whacking at it. Comes behind the net with Vaclav Nestrasil. Here's Nestrasil to Borozinskis. Shika Godziev made 4 or 5 saves in that sequence. Borozinskis up ahead for Spitznagel, though it's taken away by the Force and Zimmerman. Zimmerman, backwards for McLaughlin. Down the ice it goes. Fresh on the ice, Davidtilla. 21 seconds to go in the Force power play. He takes it in the offensive zone, but it's gained by Nestrasil. Here's Cooper Pearson. Met by McGraw. Joey McGraw taken back by Pearson. As he falls to the ice, he fires a pass taken by Davidtilla. Nestrasil blows a tire as well. And the puck goes back to the Muskegon zone. Here's McGraw. Joey McGraw on his forehand, pushed onto Godziev. He holds on for the stoppage as out of the box. Comes Riley Bass, and we're back at even strength. Joey McGraw, a Sugar Land, Texas native, spent the last few years in the North American League with the Northeast Generals, where I actually got to meet and work with Joey as the Director of Communications and Broadcasting with the Gents. Joey's known as a Dibble guy, Matt Dibble, the general manager when I was in Attleboro with the Gents, with Rock City Elite. Now, just like Paul Minahan did last season, going from the Generals to the USHL, where he went to Des Moines, Joey McGraw does the same here in Fargo. Toll, far side, pushed against the wall in his own zone. Sanderson chases far side for the puck. It comes back for Nick Korn. Popped out in front, they score! It's Jordan Ron with 3:51 to go in regulation. A beautiful pass in front, finished by the Minnesota native, his first career USHL goal. Gives his team the lead. Well, how about that? Not his first career goal in the USHL, but close to it. His second career goal in the USHL. He played last season 7 games with the Sioux City Musketeers, and well, now in his second game as a Fargo Force, gives his team the lead late. Here's Bauer Berry, looking at his options. Gets his feet moving, goes far side for Galanick. Van Blaricom hard on McLaughlin. Finn McLaughlin, older brother of Lumberjacks affiliate Will McLaughlin. Played out in front. Cleared away from the danger by Peter Cesar, but it's back in the Fargo zone. Now in the neutral zone, it's Cam Aucoin. Aucoin to Van Blaricom near side. Toe drag to a shot, fanned on it. Cesar picks it up and sends it down the ice. Bauer-Berry back to receive. Up the middle of the ice he comes. Berry with speed over the red line, fires a pass for Klee. Van Blaricom near side, puck never got to him. It was taken away by a player wearing black. And now Bassin chases Dexheimer in the Muskegon zone. Dexheimer works to the far side. Carries it over his own blue line. Now the red and the Fargo blue line. The defenseman fires it around to the far side. Hunley the first one on it. Met by Cooper Pearson. Ron controls, but high stick the called by the linesman Ford. Face-off will come all the way back down to the Fargo zone. Parker Burgess talking to his team before they break for the offensive zone draw. Veilleux and Dexheimer on the back end. Klee on with Nestrasil and Pearson up front. Klee will take the draw. Pearson outside. Nestrasil inside. Davitilla, the face-off taker for the Force. Lost to Klee. Fired on net. Deflected wide. No hand pass, says the linesman. So here comes Davitilla. Chipped into the offensive zone on the near side. Stenari the first one on it. Taken by Veilleux. Regained by Leahy at the blue line. Back down for Davitilla. Now Stenari met by Dexheimer. Klee comes in to help out. 2:15 to go in regulation. 3-2 the Force lead the Lumberjacks. Davitilla taken away by Klee. Looking to center for Veilleux. It goes off of the forward, Jordan Ron, the goal scorer as well, and back into the Fargo zone. Ron gets a piece of it. They say he didn't, so icing is called against the Force. And Brett Skinner, the head coach and general manager over in Fargo, not too thrilled about it. .157 to go in regulation, 3-2. Lumberjacks trail by one. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. Face-off will be far side of the Fargo zone. Galanick leans in. He's got Borozinskis and Spitznagel with him. Davis opened the scoring back in the first. One back by Galanick. Toll, the one-timer blocked. Now here's Borozinskis. Bouncing puck to the blue line. It goes out. Here's Ron taking control and sends it down the ice. And no icing, says the linesman. So here's Jake Toll. Now Galanick near side of his own zone, taken by Zitterman. The one-timer turned aside by Godziev. Not sure how he saw it, but he stomped it. Now he's between the hash marks, waiting for the signal from Coach Burgess. While Galanick takes him in the corner, popped out for Spitznagel. The one-timer wide. To the bench goes Godziev, 6-on-5, with $1:22 to go. Xavier Veilleux fires to the near side. Tynan Lawrence, the first one in on it, leaves off for Veilleux. Up to Borozinskis. Borozinskis to Aucoin. Fired, blocked in traffic, bouncing puck cleared down the ice. It won't be on target for a goal. The question, does it have enough for an icing? And it does. We'll see if Fargo decides to take their timeout to get fresh legs on the ice. They've got Davitilla with Stenari, McLaughlin, Ron, and on the front end, Peter Cesar. Well, now they got a whole bunch of guys out there. Someone must be taking a timeout, and that's exactly what's happening. Timeout taken by the Lumberjacks to talk things over. 1:04 to go in regulation. 3-2, the Force lead. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Really just the other rink here in Pittsburgh. Waterloo defeated Chicago earlier by a score of 4-0. Then halfway through the contest over on the other side, Cedar Rapids, they lead Lincoln 1-0. The nightcap tonight, 5 p.m. puck drop. The NTDP under-18 team take on the Sioux Falls Stampede right here on the primary rink, the FedEx rink at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. You catch the action, of course, on the official live stream partner of the USHL, FloHockey. I'll be there with you for that game as well. And then I'll be there tomorrow as the Lumberjacks take on the Sioux Falls Stampede. 1 p.m. puck drop, Sunday afternoon hockey. The next game for the Force, that won't be till next week when they take on the NTDP as part of their home opening weekend. $5 tickets out in Fargo, 7:05 p.m. puck drop next Friday night. Well, the Force, they send out Bassin with McLaughlin, Davidtilla, Stenari, and Larilla. The Lumberjacks keep the net empty. It's Klee with Lawrence, Galanic, Veo, Van Blaricom, and then in his own zone is Cooper Pearson. Klee will take the draw across from Riley Bassin. Tynan Lawrence lines up as a defenseman. One back by Bassin. McLaughlin off for Larilla. Taken near side, Davidtilla. Minute remaining. Here's Lawrence. Joining the play is Cooper Pearson. Has it far side. Fires it wide. It comes back to Lawrence on the near side. Up towards Veo. Taken away by Davidtilla. Veo looking to sell out to block the shot. Davidtilla gets it past him, and Fargo makes it 4-2. The insurance goal they were looking for, Reed Davidtilla, tied the game in the final minute of the second period, and now gives his team a 2-goal lead in the final minute of the third period. Burrs-Collins leans in across from Bassin. The ensuing draw at center ice. Borizinskis and Nestrasil with Rudy. One back by Bassin. Here's McLaughlin. Up ahead, Stenari sends in. Nick Coring, his number sake, takes it away though. 35 seconds left. Here's Coring. Up the near side. Finds Borizinskis. It's back in the neutral zone with Stenari. Now Nestrasil. Back with Burrs-Collins over to Bauer Berry. Berry directing traffic, goes D to D with Nick Coring. Coring over the red line, sends in and around. Stopped by Lendak, played to the near side. Nestrasil uses his body to stop the puck with 10 seconds to go in the frame. Berry holds, fires, blocker to side, 3 seconds left. Puck goes to the corner. Nestrasil battles, but time expires. So the Force, they pick up their first win of the season. They move to 1-1. And close out their weekend here in Pittsburgh. The Lumberjacks, they fall to 0-1. In their season opening game, they'll take on the Sioux Falls Stampede tomorrow at 1 p.m. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. Back in the first period, Davis Borizinskis opened the scoring. His first this season, assisted by Vaclav Nestrasil and Cooper Pearson. A power play goal at the 17:51 mark. Then in the second, just a minute and 6 seconds into the second period, Fargo tied the game up. Sam Larilla, assisted by Peter Cesar and Merrill Stenari, a power play goal for the Force. We didn't get our first even strength goal until a minute and a half after that when Rudy Burrs-Collins found the back of the net. I thought it was Galanic. Might have been Burrs-Collins, I guess. We'll take a look at that and see if it gets adjusted. But then in the final minute of the frame, it was Reed Davidtilla's first of the year, assisted by Sam Larilla, to tie the game up at 2 apiece, heading into the second intermission. Out of it, it was all Fargo. First, the 16:09 mark, Jordan Ron, assisted by Eero Butella, to make it 3-2 in favor of Fargo. And then the empty netter, Reed Davidtilla's second of the game, second of the year at the 19:16 mark to ice the game and win it for Fargo. So Fargo moves to 1-1. Muskegon moves to 0-1. The Jacks take on Sioux Falls tomorrow at 1 p.m. The Force will head back to Fargo and prepare for the NTDP, who come to town for the home opener next week, Friday. $5 tickets.